The advice and opinions expressed by the host of Autism Live and her guests are meant solely as suggestion and should not be in any way construed as child-specific advice. The Center for Autism and Related Disorders advises working with a board-certified behavior analyst who has experience with autism before starting any intensive behavioral intervention. Any choices you make in determining your child's treatment are completely at your own discretion.
Good morning and welcome to Autism Live. I'm Shannon Penrod, and today we have another one of our very special shows where each week this month, we're going to be trying to salute a different group of people. And this week, we're saluting people who work in the field of autism. And in some cases, they're brand new working in the field of autism. Sometimes they are people who have been working in the field of autism for quite a while. Now, I chose to just salute people who work for the Center for Autism and Related Disorders card because for a very simple reason, and I know everybody's like, oh, well, it's this, that, or the other, but the reason why is because that is the place that helped me to get my son back. So please know that that's why I need to salute these people. I was saying the other day that sometimes it's hard when you're in this intervention as a caregiver. I can't speak for everyone else, but I know for me, it was hard. I was underwater. I was overwhelmed. There were so many things that I wanted to do to make sure I was showing up for my son. It was hard for me to remember to be a human being and to thank the people who were working so hard with him. I know that sounds weird to some people, but I know others of you will get it. It was hard for me to remember that. I say all the time that, I have a friend who's a firefighter and who explained to me that, when somebody's house is on fire, they're not going to stop and thank the person that's helping them, that they don't turn around and thank that person really truly until things are better, until things are on an even keel. And that's just human nature. And that made me feel better because I thought, what's wrong with me that I didn't thank these people? So things are on a good footing for us now. So I try to thank these people whenever I can. I was saying good morning to Greg. He says, where's Temple? I know this is Temple Grand and Tuesdays, but we've preempted Temple Grand and Tuesdays this week to present card stars. So I hope you'll stick around, Greg, to see some amazing people. And we're saying good morning to Maggie. And we're sort of preempting the next couple of Temple Grand and Tuesdays, but I'm hopeful. I need to call Temple today. I'm hopeful that by the end of the month, we'll have her on back again live, Greg. So I think that will be better than watching the best of Temple Grandin for a couple of weeks. I think. And by the way, all of our videos that we've done with Temple are available on our website. So you can go there and check them out. While we're talking about that, those of you who are watching us live are probably watching on our homepage, autism-live.com, or on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook. We welcome you there. Plus there's 18 other sites that we are live on. If you are on the big three, YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook, you can write directly into those formats and it shows up here on my screen. I don't have to go anywhere else. And if you watch the show, I can't walk, talk, and chew gum at the same time. So it's hard for me to look in the other places is what we're discovering. So if you want immediate response, those are the best places to go. If you're watching recorded, though, you can send your messages to us at autism-live.com. There's a chat button at the bottom. Just know it's not an interactive chat. I don't have the ability to chat back to you on that format. No, Temple Grandin is not on today, Greg. I'm sorry, but tune in or go to our homepage and you can watch all of our videos with Temple Grandin. Today we have a special show where we're saluting card stars. These are people who work at the Center for Autism and Related Disorders, and I can't wait to spread some love on these people because they're amazing people. I want to remind you guys that our homepage, autism-live.com, has all of our archive videos. Now we're in our 10th year of presenting these videos to you. So there's quite a library of videos there. My dog says hello and that she wants you to go there as well. We also have a ginormous site on YouTube where you can search and find all of our videos. But we are a podcast, and we podcast. We're available as a download everywhere that you get your podcasts. In fact, last month we were named the #1 rated autism podcast worldwide. Wah! And isn't that exciting? And that is because of you guys, because you tune in, you like, you share, you review, you follow, all the things. You subscribe, all the things. So we can't thank you enough for being here and being with us, because your input, as always, is important. So unfortunately, I also don't have Dr. Doreen Grampiche with me here this morning. She would have loved to have been here, but she got called away. She will be here with us tomorrow. And don't let me forget to say that it is Dr. Grampiche's birthday this week. And tomorrow on the show, we're going to be doing Card Stars again, and we're really looking forward to that. And it's our last time this week, her birthday week, that we'll have her on. So if you are a big fan of Dr. Doreen Grampiche, please send your birthday messages in for her during tomorrow's live show. We want her to feel the love. Yes. So I'm excited. Today, as I said, we're going to be showing you our card stars, and we hope that we have a little bit better luck today than we did yesterday. But these are amazing, often very young people who are working in the field of autism. And so many people have written in and said, gosh, this seems like an incredible place to work, and I'd like to work there. How can I get a job at the Center for Autism and Related Disorders? Well, first of all, are you someone who loves working with kiddos? Are you someone who wants to be a part of a team that wants to help individuals on the autism spectrum and their families? There are lots of jobs available at CARD. Dr. Grampiche was saying yesterday, whether you want to be a behavior technician, whether you want to be someone you're studying to be a BCBA. Oh my goodness, we always are looking for good BCBAs, right? Board certified behavior analysts. But there are also people who work in the offices that support. When I talk to our teams, I always tell them, you're the modern day superheroes. And the rest of us just want to play play Robin to your Batman. So we want to be the support staff. And there's a lot of people who don't have advanced degrees in psychology who do the billing and the, all the paperwork, all the authorization forms and the insurance and all of that. So if you're looking for a job, heaven knows, the Center for Autism is looking for good people, but especially therapists, and they give the best training at the Center for Autism and Related Disorders. You don't have to already be trained in this, but you have to be somebody who has a passion for learning. And you have to be somebody who's resilient. Everybody's always looking for that grit thing. If you saw the TED Talk about grit, I don't think I could have been a therapist. I just don't think, I don't know, maybe when I was younger. But older, I think it's a young person's game. But I certainly love seeing the progress for the kiddos. And I'm excited about the folks that we have that are going to be joining us on the show, but so far none of them have shown up. I'm hoping they're going to make it here. I'm going to start to introduce our first supposed guest and hope that she gets here by the time that we're done talking about her. But if she doesn't, then we'll have said nice things about her. So the first person that I want to talk about today is Alyssa Trombley. She is an assistant supervisor in the Lakewood Center, and she was nominated by a family. Some of the folks who are nominated were nominated by families that whose kiddos are getting treated, and others, they were nominated by fellow workers. And both are amazing, but I gotta say, when a family is going through early intervention and they stop what they're doing to write nice things about you, you gotta know you're doing incredible things. And assistant supervisors, we were talking about this yesterday, these are incredible people who really often make a huge difference in a family. So this is family nominated, and this is their second nomination from a family. They said, Alyssa is a perfect example of a dedicated supervisor. She puts her families first and always makes sure her peers and her office are supported and heard. What a wonderful thing to say. I met Alyssa almost 3 years ago now when she was the center's operations manager. Since then, we have worked together to fulfill her dream of becoming A BCBA. Alyssa is gracious, kind, humble, smart, enthusiastic, and above all, focused. There is nothing that will stop her from making sure her clients are getting their needs met. I am truly lucky to know such an amazing human being. Alyssa is very knowledgeable and skilled in ABA assessment and working directly with our kids. She has greatly improved our family's home functioning around our kids' autism challenges with daily living skills by implementing individualized routines for both kids that have really helped. She always provides superb customer service. I love hearing that because part of the experience is customer service, right? And is customer service and is client centered while listening to the needs of our whole family. Thank you for the opportunity to nominate a card star. Wow, I just think what an incredible thing to say. And when I think of all that list of things, that really is the embodiment of somebody who is a card star. And I'm told that she is here with us. Is it Alyssa or Alyssa?
Hi, it's Alyssa.
Alyssa, that's what I was saying. Well, Alyssa, I hope you were here early enough to hear some of those things that were said about you. My understanding is that, and I love to see you masked up because you're in an office with other people, love to see the safety protocols in play. But you were nominated last year, and both times you were nominated by families. And I don't know if you can really deeply understand how much that shows that you are a star, and how much of a difference you are making in the lives of these families. So were you able to hear what I read?
I kind of heard towards the end of it some like adaptive skills to kiddos, I think. So
Well, they were talking about how when they met you that you were an operations manager and that you had the dream of becoming a BCBA. So I've heard a lot of people who come in as therapists and then go on to be BCBAs, or come in as therapists and go on to be OMs. I don't know that I've heard this story before. So how did you actually come to CARD?
So it's a little bit more steps than that. I actually started as a therapist, and then I became a therapist liaison, and then I was the OM. I just know we had some issues with OMs in the past, and I was really passionate about our office and making sure, things went well for our therapists and our family. So I became the OM. And then I just found myself really missing working directly with the kids in the clinical side. So I became an assistant supervisor, and now I'm a BCABA, and I'm working on my master's right now. I have one more semester, and then I can sit for my BCBA exam.
Girl, you go. I mean, listen to that. That's quite a career path. But what I hear at the base of all of it is your passion and that desire to help our kiddos. I mean, can I tell you that makes me want to cry?
Thank you. I appreciate it. I
No,
mean, I
no,
love
we
CARD. I
appreciate
love
it.
my job. So, yeah.
And why? For people who are watching at home who have kiddos on the spectrum and today's a hard day and they're barely getting through, we want to understand, why do you love it so much?
I mean, I've always wanted to do something I felt like, just made a difference. And now I'm going to cry. I feel like
we're all going to cry. It's okay.
Yeah, I just, hearing the family say that I've made a difference. It could be little things like, oh, my kid can dress himself today, things like that. So I go to work every day and I don't not want to go to work. So I just love CARD. I love the career path I'm in. So I don't know what else to say.
Can we tell you the feeling is mutual? And I know that if Dr. Graham-Pichet were here, she would say to you that you are everything. You are the embodiment of everything that is Carditude. And we are so proud to know you and to know that you are out there working with the families, working with the kiddos, working with the staff, and helping to support them. Clearly, you are a CARD star. And I just, if we weren't in COVID and if I were with you, I would hug you. But I'm sending you a virtual hug, and on behalf of the families that have written in and said wonderful things about you, on behalf of all of the families, thank you. The work you're doing matters so very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, please give our love to everybody, and thank you for being here. Are you doing okay in COVID? Or I know we're all sick of this, but obviously you're wearing the mask. Are you
Right.
doing okay?
I'm doing good. I mean, I feel like it's the new normal at this point. It'd be weird to go back to the old way, you know what I mean? So, yeah, getting
But you're getting
along.
it done.
So, yeah.
And kids are in the centers and getting good ABA and making progress.
Yeah, we just had actually 2 kiddos come back to the center for the first time yesterday, and it was like night and day. They remembered the center too. It was really awesome to see. So, yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. You make my heart beat faster. Thank you so much. We just appreciate you so much for taking the time to be with us.
Yeah.
You have a great week. You are a card star, madam.
Thank you. You have a good week as well. Bye.
All right, you take care. Thank you. So now, you guys, we have a schedule, but we're having connection problems still today. I don't know why. But I'm told that we have Linda Watson who is here with us. And so, whoops, and I'm having all kinds of, hang on, because I want to say all the things about Linda. So hang on. If I can negotiate my spreadsheets here. Okay, so excited that Linda Watson is our next guest. This is another person who was family nominated. And what they said about her, by the way, she is a CLM-D from San Marcos. We're going to have her explain what all those letters mean. But it's fabulous, let me just tell you. The family that nominated her said from day one, Linda has always looked out for the client's best interests. How much do we love that? That includes not just the main client, but the parents, caregivers as well. From the lesson tracks for the client to the trainings at collaborative meetings, it is always client skill-based and not just put into place. She has always made herself available if assistance is needed to help side by side with any escalations or changes that where assistance is needed. Linda is, and then somebody else, she's nominated twice. Stop, get out. Somebody else said, Linda is a great help for our son to realize his needs and goals. The simple and creative social stories she makes helps my son understand new things that will affect his daily life. Before they happen, we always read aloud the stories along with our son so that he is ready when the time comes. My son has been able to improvise, improve not only to his speech, but also understanding the world around him. Thanks, Linda. She is a great supervisor. Pretty amazing. Not just one, but 2 families writing in, taking the time to say that she's fabulous. So let's welcome Linda Watson. Linda.
Hello.
What a card star you are. 2 families writing in and saying such wonderful things. I know. I could barely read. I'm wiping the tears away.
Yeah.
So Linda, first of all, congratulations and thank you for being a card star and thank you for taking time out of your day to be here. But Linda, what is the CLM-D for people who don't speak card alphabet?
Well, and actually that position has changed. They got rid of that position and they have a group clinical manager position. That's not my current position. So my current position is I work out of 4 offices supporting other BCBAs, and I also have a caseload that I manage.
So amazing is what it boils down to, is that you're an architect making sure that a lot of kids, not just kids that you personally are supervising, but a lot of other kids as well, and making sure that quality assurance is there for so many kids. I just want to say on behalf of the families that are watching, you're what we all dream about having, right? Having that person who is looking out for the kiddos, who's making sure, and I love that the families called you out and said, it's not just the kiddo, that you're doing things that are, for that kiddo, but taking into consideration the entire family. That's the dream. Everybody wants to have a Linda. Isn't that amazing? So tell us a little bit about you and how you came to work at CARD, Linda.
Okay. Well, I was a special ed teacher for 5 years, and I was in Indiana when I was teaching, and I moved from Indiana to California, and I actually was with a different company as a behavior technician, Easter Seals, and I worked up to a middle management position, and then I went to CARD 3 years ago when I got my BCBA. I got my BCBA 4 years ago. So, yes.
Well, and I both love and I'm sorry that CARD stole you away from someplace else, but I love that you're here and able to help so many more kiddos, and that you know, are on this pathway to be able to help more and more people. You should know that CARD loves you and that your families love you. And we are just deeply appreciative for people like you who are getting it done, Linda. I'm sure that it's a challenge and that it's been a challenge in COVID. What's been the hardest thing, do you think?
I think, honestly, the hardest thing has been caregiver support, because that's one reason I switched fields. I loved special education, but I connect with I make a different impact working with families and working from that angle of it versus in a school setting. Yes, there's things I can address, but I can actually work on language development. I can work on like family dynamic from the ABA perspective. But during COVID, I had so many families. I had some families that were receiving telehealth, were just receiving parent training. And caregiver collaboration is such an important part for me, because nothing that we do is going to be effective if we don't involve the caregivers. And if we don't make it practical for them to implement in the home setting, what we do here doesn't have as much meaning. So I found, though, that's just been difficult because family dynamics have changed during COVID. Everyone has had different needs. People have had losses. People have had to put things on hold. So I think just making sure that my caregivers have been supported properly and they're not going crazy during this time has probably been the most difficult for me.
I'm just like, amen, sister. Amen. Take us to church, because you know, we have so many families who write in and say how much help they need. So it is such a pleasure to meet you in this way and to know that you are out there helping our families. I am your biggest fan. So thank you so much for being with us. We got to say goodbye. I don't want to, but we have other people that we got to move on to. But on behalf of everybody, and I know if Dr. Grampy Shea were here, she would just be spreading love on you and saying thank you for all the work that you were doing. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me on here. It means a lot that my family's nominated me. I can't explain it.
Well, you did a lot. That it does mean a lot. We understand what it takes for two families to write in and say how amazing you are. Girl, you keep on keeping on, okay?
Okay.
Thank you so much for being with us. This is, I get overwhelmed because you guys are so amazing. So thank you.
Thank you
so much. I got to look at my list here. So next up, we've been talking about that OM role. We have an operations manager who's standing by to talk to us. She's a CARD star. We're talking about Virginia Douglas. So she's an operations manager in Manassas. This is another family nomination, you guys. When you are an operations manager and a family nominates you, you are serious business, right? Because that's, you're hitting it out of the park. So Virginia is a CARD star, is what they said, because she always does a great job communicating as an operations manager and knows the kids at her center. She never fails to greet my family with a big smile and a hug. She has the most positive attitude and is very helpful and willing to answer any and all questions we have. She is the reason my family is so comfortable coming to the center, and having her there gives my family and I assurance that we are well looked after and safe, that they are well looked after and safe while at the center. This is like the highest caliber of compliment. I always say, our kids are our most precious thing. And when we trust people to drop our kids off with them and feel this level of comfortable, we're doing something. So let's get Virginia in here so that we can thank her. Virginia, Well, first of all, thank you so much for being a card star and being the kind of person, I'm going to cry, that a family would write that about you, because you know that like you can offer somebody the best therapy in the world, but if they don't feel comfortable, if they don't feel like their kiddo is safe, it's not going to happen. And that you have made this family feel like they are 100% at home, and that their kiddo is safe. Virginia, that's everything. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It is a pleasure. This is actually, I don't do what I do for recognition, but hearing this type of feedback is very fulfilling to me, because it's why I'm in this industry. I've been in healthcare for over 20 years in a number of environments. I've been with CARD for about 5 months now. And what is significant for me is that I've been motivated to really build bridges between communities and between providers and clients and patients. And when I see the clients, I don't see just patients, I see family. I think about my relatives with special needs. I think about my sisters, my 2 autistic nephews, as well as just the energy, the strength, and the vulnerability that it takes to really promote growth for the individuals that we serve. So I see loved ones. So it makes me emotional as well that, families would write in and comment, because they do have a special place in my heart, and I'm happy to be here.
Virginia, where did we find you? Because we want to clone you and find like 400 more of you. How did you come to CARD?
I was actually on a journey. Again, I've been in healthcare for over 20 years, and I recognized in my youth that there was really a divide, a disconnect between the services that were provided. And I was motivated to bridge those gaps with understanding, trust, and care. And I had done it so long in an acute care setting, which is magical, and it gave me my foundation. But I was ready to be a little bit more connected to community. During my interview process, I shared, it took me months to find the right place that I wanted to align with, that shared my vision and my motivations, and CARD was the place for me. It was truly a divine calling, and it's a pleasure to be here. I feel incredibly blessed for this opportunity. And again, it's just so fulfilling knowing that the reason and purpose that I selected this company, and the reasons that I wanted CARD to acknowledge me or accept me for this role was the very same thing that our families recognize.
Well, I got to say, for only being here for 5 months, coming in the middle of COVID, and that this is what parents are saying about you, you are a CARD star. I'm so glad that you are finally home, and I hope you stay for a really long time. And I hope that you're a part of helping other operations managers know how to make their families feel comfortable. And I want you to know, I don't know if you know my story, Virginia, but my son was treated at CARD. And so I know what it takes for someone to say, this person makes me feel comfortable. You are changing lives every day by the work that you are doing. I know that for a fact. So on behalf of everyone at CARD, thank you for being a CARD star. On behalf of all the families who get to come to your center, thank you. I'm sure that your staff would say too, that when the families are comfortable coming in the door, it makes it possible for them to get back to job one, which is helping the kids make progress. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I look forward to seeing you every year on CARD Stars.
Thank you so much.
You take care.
You also.
Bye-bye. Oh my gosh, you guys, these amazing, amazing people. It's just killing me. Okay, so I didn't look to see before I dropped out of that thing because I have to go to the spreadsheet. Can you tell that I am incapable of anything? Where is my, it won't come back. Oh, there we are. Okay. So next, we have Anisha Martin. And so let me tell you a little bit about Anisha, but strap in because it's going to be a while, because a lot was written about her. So family nominated again, you guys. She's a clinical supervisor out of Prairieville. The first family said about her, I have 2 children that attend CARD. I believe Anisha was created to help children like our sons. Her kindness and loving care towards not only our kids, but our entire family is amazing. We have a blended family, and that isn't always easy. Last year, my son's biological father was diagnosed with terminal cancer. Anisha has been so kind to us and to me in particular. She has gone out of her way to help me through the teen years with one of my children. I simply don't know what I would have done without her. She was also instrumental in helping me to convince our school system to allow CARD into our public school. I got to scroll because that's how much there is here. They called our IEP historic, and that is in no small part to the hard work Anisha has done. Anisha has a smile on her face every day. She never makes me feel bad for being emotional about about my child's struggles. I love her for all that she has done and does for our boys. Anisha knows how seriously I take their therapy and that it's critical to the rest of their there's more, to the rest of their lives, that they have the right programs in their ABA therapy sessions. She wants them to succeed, and she supports me in my quest to help them achieve all they can. She is always on time. She always asks how I feel and has zero ego. If I don't agree with something, she listens, and they put that in capital letters, to my concerns and allows me to have a voice, which is so important. Sometimes she just lets me cry and tells me that I can do it. If you pick anyone else, I know they might be really great, but there is no way they are as wonderful as our angel Anisha. For the rest of my life, she will be in my heart. She has changed my boys' stars. I have more hope for them than ever because of Anisha Martin. And then another nomination. Right, that was just the first one, y'all. Hang on. Anisha has been working with my boys for several years. I have watched my youngest of the two go from being nonverbal to being able to read, and his progress is largely due to Anisha's expertise and hard work. She has taught me many important skills and techniques. She is extremely passionate about ABA, and that passion instills passion into all those who work under her. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, we got to get her in here, but I got to mop down because I am just crying. But Anisha, where are you? Anisha,
Hi.
I've lost my screen here, so I don't know where my screen has gone. But I know you're there. There it is. Okay. So Anisha, congratulations and thank you. You are a CARD star.
Oh my goodness, I'm so honored.
Well, and I'm just like, where are my tissues? It's a mess in here. But Anisha, let's first of all, again, thank you. Tell people what role you play and how you came to be at CARD.
Oh, well, I am currently a clinical supervisor here at CARD, and I've been with CARD going on 7 years in September. I started out interning with a professor in my disabilities class, and she worked out in the Hammond area, and I was like, wow, this is really amazing with kids with autism. And so I was like, this is amazing. I want to do this, And so a friend of mine, told me about a position at CARD. And so I applied to the Baton Rouge office, and I have just fell in love since then. I've been a therapist liaison. I've been an assessment tech with the company, and I've also been an assistant supervisor. In 2017, I just went on ahead and decided to get my master's in the field, and now I'm a clinical supervisor, and I've been a board certified behavior analyst since 2019.
Wow. I mean, you say that, well, I just decided to get my master's degree, as if it's like, well, I went down to the Piggly Wiggly. Like it's like that easy. That's a lot of work while you're working. And I just want to salute you. Clearly, you are one empowered and powerful woman who is making changes for a lot of people, including yourself. For families to write in and say how much hope and how much progress that you have given them, I got to acknowledge you and say, we talk a lot about what carditude is, and you have it going on.
Thank you.
What is it that makes you so passionate about this job? What is it that really sang to you that you said, this is what I got to do?
Wow, definitely my families and wanting to see them succeed. There are so many, families that come to us and they tell us like, well, my son, he needs some help doing this. And my daughter, they need some help learning this skill, and just knowing that our parents are so invested and dedicated and wanting to see growth in their kids makes me even more passionate to do what I do now. I'll tell you some impactful things, just like the families that wrote in, they were struggling in the school system, our boys, and so it was a situation to where we have to get them some extra support, so I don't mind going above and beyond for our families because, when you're I have some really dedicated families. And so they're so passionate about wanting to see their kids succeed. So that pushes me even further to want to help them to see that success in their kids, and just another kiddo, we've been struggling with pottying, for a while, and just seeing his mom and his grandmother's face light up, when he's finally using the restroom on his own and even requesting, that's just a reward within itself for me.
Yes. And sometimes those things are hard won, but I think that sometimes that just makes it that much sweeter when it comes along. And I hope that for those of you who are sitting at home and watching this, when you see on your face, Anisha, the joy of that, because a lot of times we feel alone as parents and we feel like, nobody cares, and that, the people who are working with our kiddos, it's just a job. Sure. And what I love when we get to do Card Stars, we get to see that for many of you, that this is so much more than a job, that this is a calling, a calling.
Yeah.
When they say you were creative.
I fell in love with this field, I was like, oh my goodness, my kiddos and stuff. It was just, once I started working in this position, it was like, wow, this is what I know that I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And it was just so exciting. I felt happy, and it's just so fulfilling for me,
Yes. I love, somebody just wrote in and said, it's so important to have a team member like you. Parents need to have people more trained than us, and we need people like you to help us to learn from you. And I agree that I love, though, that you say that when the parents are involved, that it elevates you. And this is what I'm always saying to parents, be involved. And then when you get somebody like you and everybody's collaborating together, it raises the roof right off the whole thing. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Anisha, I just can't even tell you how much I love what these parents wrote and what you said, and how deeply appreciative we all are at CARD, because it's people like you that make all the dreams come true, right? And knowing that you're someone who's out there and working with these families, it just gives me so much joy. Here's a fun thing is that, I know when my son started being treated at CARD, I just thought, oh, well, we just have the best team. Like they cherry picked and I just got lucky and we got the best team. And then our team sort of evolved and more people came, and I was like, wow, they're good too. And, people would go, well, you just lucked out. You were not on my son's team. You're on somebody else's team, and you are a star. And as we meet all these different people during Card Stars, I want for people to see how many people are out there who are awesome, who are stars, who want to work with your kiddos and want your kiddos to make progress. This is how we're all going to be able to sleep again, because there are people like Anisha. Everybody needs an Anisha. Anisha, what were you doing when you discovered CARD? Were you already you were working in the field? How? Because we want to look in those same places for more.
Okay. So before working at CARD, I had obtained my criminal justice degree, actually, and I had a minor in psychology. And so, as I was studying for the LSATs, because I was going to go to law school, I just fell out of love with it. And, I've always had a passion to wanting to help people in any way possible. And so, I was a bit lost. And so I was like, okay, well, let me go back. I only have 10 classes to complete my psychology degree. And so that's what I decided to do. And it was actually this one psychology class, my disabilities. And, before then, I didn't really know what autism really was until we discussed it in a class. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. And that's how I was able to intern briefly with my professor and seeing kids in the Hammond area. And I just fell in love with it. I was just so amazed, like, wow, this is something very different, but something very interesting. And that's how I just fell into this field, and I just loved it. So yeah, my initial plan was to become a lawyer. And so now I'm a clinical supervisor, and I couldn't be more excited to be in this field than law, to be honest.
Well, Card surely is happy that you decided not to go into law, and your families are happy. I'm happy. I know if Dr. Grampy Shea were here, she would say, thank you, Anisha. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for being so awesome. Clearly you're smart, because you knew to have your background be that beautiful painting that's behind me. So thank you so much, Anisha. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for being such a card star. And just, I don't know what else to say except thank you and thank God for you. Honestly, you're amazing.
Thank you for those compliments.
All right. You take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye. I'm so sorry. And so our last guest today, and I'm trying to mop down. If my husband could hear me, I need a paper towel or something. So in any case, our last guest today, she was there and now she's gone. I got to see if she's here, but I got a lot I got to read about her anyway. If you're just tuning in, we're doing Card Stars, and we're focusing on people who are amazing. Oh my gosh, my husband did hear me. Thank you. I have lost my document. It is among the missing. I got to find where I'm saying nice things about Heather, because there were many nice things said about her. Hold on. Here we go. Okay, Heather Vaughn. It's another long one, you guys. Get comfortable. She is a behavior therapist out of Irvine, and this is another family nomination. And I think there's two here. I am very grateful, this is what the parent says, for both of my child's team members, Heather Vaughn and also to Christopher Lee. Both of them have impacted our lives and changing experience for my son, especially during COVID. My son's elopement has dropped tremendously, pretty much under control in the community. And COVID, that's amazing. Aggression has decreased due to the consistency and follow through with the entire team. Heather has been on my son's team the longest. She resolved picky eating problems, swallowing saliva issues, excuse me, riding elevators appropriately instead of challenging behaviors that were on board for more than 8 years. She will go the extra mile to resolve his behaviors, always initiate language building whenever the opportunity arises. Thank you, CARD, for such a strong training support for families like us, especially during the pandemic. Staffs are taking extra step following all safety guidelines. My child had made tremendous growth in all aspects of his deficits. And then she goes on to say, oh, no, I think this is a new person. This is a new family nomination. Heather has been so genuine and effective from day one. Last year, I was having a hard time to handle the situation with my son, and she came up with the idea of stimulating skills, and that was brilliant enough to solve the problem and help my son control himself much better. Most of all, she has been so sincere and always has been having fun with him. yet very skillful and observant, a therapist of virtues. Oh my gosh, 2 families nominating her. So let's welcome to the show Heather Vaughn.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Awesome.
Heather, were you able to hear all the nice things that those families said about you?
I heard bits and pieces. They actually have not been shy about telling me that they nominated me. So
I'm so glad, because sometimes it's hard for us to remember to say thank you because we're so in the mix. But I also want to see. I want to say that your older sister or older sibling is watching, and they've shouted out. So we want to make sure. And Jean Lee is saying hi, Heather. So you got fans in the house, Heather.
I do.
So Heather, tell us about you and how you came to work at CARD. How did this field find you?
I actually was not planning on working in this field. I went for training. I actually went through all the training to become a chiropractor and worked as a chiropractor for a few years. And I did other medical things, including medical equipment, inventing, and things like that. And I just couldn't find the right fit for me. I unfortunately had that kind of situation where it's like I was passionate about helping people. So anywhere you stuck me where I could help people, I was like, all right, I'm motivated, let's do it. But then I would eventually I would lose that fire. And one of my friends, she works with the school district as a paraeducator, and she her son is special needs and had had to different situations where he had to get different types of help. And the mom, she was recommending, she's like, you need to look into this. You should be a behavioral technician, a BI or something. Like, she's like, you're going to be amazing at it. And I had worked with kids on the spectrum through my martial arts. I did martial arts for many years. And so I went through their junior instructor program, and I had worked with some kids that were who had ASD. And I kind of knew what I was getting myself into. But I was like, you know what? Okay, fine. I'll try it. She told me for like a year. She was like, you'd be so good at this. And I'm like, oh, whatever. Okay, whatever. Because, I heard that from so many people to be like, oh, you'd be good at this. You'd be good at that. And I'm like, okay,
I'm going to need this woman's address so I can send her a thank you card.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. She would love that.
Right?
Laura,
right.
She would love a thank you card. But yeah, I ended up Googling and like looking up, different places. And the thing that stuck out to me about CARD was its focus on training and its focus on the structure of, you do this, and then you the different levels of the BT program. So you're BT1 at this point, and then you study, you get your BCAT, you get, you evolve, you become a trainer, all that kind of stuff. So I went through all of that. I got my BCAT. I became a trainer. For a little while, I was doing the recruitment as well, getting people in, telling everybody how awesome CARD is. And it really is it's a natural fit for me, because I really like seeing the growth, and I'm stubborn. So I don't mind if it takes a while. I don't mind if it takes a while. And those challenging cases where it's not so obvious what the child needs, I don't mind them at all. I don't mind it at all. When you have a situation and the parents, they're at the end of their rope and they're like, we don't know what else to do, or some of the situations where you get even the supervisors are like, we tried this, like, what's the next step? And they're just looking for those fresh ideas. And that's kind of my niche, where it's like, all right, let's find a new way to do it. Let's find a new solution and hop in there and tailor make it to the kid, not just sitting there and saying, all right, because let's be honest, most kids thrive with the standard ABA. Most kids absolutely thrive. You're going to have a few kids where it really has to be a little bit more precise to really get them motivated and to get them where they need to be. And then some of the kids, it's just they've been in ABA for so long, because some of these kids, they started at 3 years old, and so now they're becoming teenagers, they're getting older, and maybe it's like they're almost done with their therapy, or maybe they are continuing their therapy all through until their early adulthood, but they just need that change up where it's like, all right, it's the same thing over and over and over, and they just get bored of it, and you have to find that, okay, like, what's really going to motivate them, what's going to get them over that hump. And I'm reading the chat, and my little
you've
guys
got all
are
kinds of people watching.
Yeah.
You've got your parents are saying how proud they are of you. You've got friends and family and clients and kiddos. They're watching you live. I just want you to feel how much support there is for this amazing thing that you're doing.
Thank you.
Somebody who's not one of your clients just shouted out and said, she said it, what the child needs. And that how important it is for people in this field to be doing what you're doing, which is changing it up, making it fresh, making it exciting, making it worthwhile, doing what the child needs. Heather, you're a star.
Thank you. Thank you. It really means a lot.
Thank you. You shouldn't be thanking us. We need to be thanking you. That's what this whole program is about making sure that you know how appreciated it is, and that what you do matters, and that it's like the ripple in the pond. And look at all these people, colleagues and people that have written in and who have said that they're watching because you're amazing.
I hope really means a lot.
So how long have you been at CARD now?
I started in January 2018.
Okay, so you've been here a few years. Are we making sure that because I want to make sure that we're keeping it fresh enough for you so that you don't get complacent. I don't want to lose you.
It definitely is fresh enough. My kiddos keep me on my toes.
Good.
My kiddos keep me on my toes.
Because we want really you to want to stay. But all these amazing things that you brought in the door with you of having, done martial arts, of, I'm sure being a chiropractor is helpful to you on certain days. Not that you're doing chiropractic on the kids, but,
right.
There's a certain amount of skill that takes that you're bringing to your work.
It definitely helped with the lingo. Because you don't realize when you get into a new field, like, oh, there's all these different words jargon that I have no idea. I was talking to one of my sisters, actually. She was asking me, like, what does BHT mean? What does this mean? What is that? And so having a background where I had to learn the lingo over here, having a new situation where I had to learn the lingo, it definitely did help. Yeah.
Well, tell them we do jargon of the day here.
Jargon of the day.
We do jargon of the day, and we make fun of the terms and then explain them in very easy to understand if you've never taken a psychology class. So let them know we have a playlist on our channel for jargon of the day. But to Heather, I am so happy to know you and to know that you are working in this field. And I just think that there's a lot of caregivers that were watching who are thinking, oh my gosh, isn't it great to know that that there's people like Heather in the world who are excited to have our child have a challenge, and that you're not going to give up. Listening to that list of things that, a parent saying that this had been on board for 5 years, this had been on board for 7 years, and that you were able to get it done, Heather.
Yes.
Amazing.
It definitely was there were definitely a lot of we call them like COVID victories, where we weren't expecting to make such progress because we're doing the social distancing. But because we're doing the social distancing, there's certain areas where we were able to really highly target. And instead of saying, oh, well, we're stuck at home, we're, everything's closed, everything's sad, we're like, all right, we're at home, what can we do? We can do this. And having those victories, utilizing Zoom when we can, utilizing things around the neighborhood that might have been overlooked, just finding those new little spots, and then using what we have available to motivate the kids, number one, and then to target what those needs are. And it really did help also for the parents, because a lot of the parents, not that it's bad, because it's super good to have the generalization across the locations, but a lot of the parents, they drop the kids off at the center and then they go kind of do their own thing. And so some of the parents that weren't previously able to watch how sessions were run now are more exposed. And so now their eyes are like, oh, okay, like, oh, how do you do this? And they're asking more questions, because, they don't necessarily, before, they didn't necessarily see the potential of their kid. And I mean, I had one story where one of my kiddos, I told the mom for like 2 years, I was like, your kid is so smart. Your kid is so smart. And every day she'd be, okay, just like, all right, and it wasn't till 2 months into lockdown where she looked at me and she was like, I understand. Like I get what you were saying. Like she knew, like I was trying to tell her, like, he has this potential, but she wasn't able to see it. And so once she was, kind of stuck with me, she was stuck in the same room with me. She was able to see what I had been seeing that entire time. And then once she was able to see it, then that helped her relationship with her son, because then she was able to push him and to have those expectations and that goals and the same things that I was hoping for her. She was able to then hope for herself, instead of being like, all right, Heather comes, Heather figures it out, good luck, Heather. It was, okay, now I'm the mom and I can do it. And so seeing the parents empowered, even like during all of this time with the lockdowns and everything, seeing the parents empowered, it brings me to tears sometimes. It really does.
And so you're calling those COVID victories? Is that what you're calling it?
Yeah, COVID victories.
And it sounds like you're having a lot of them.
We really are. We really are. We're not letting anything hold us back. Not, we're finding our ways. And even as a clinic, we're having our Zoom calls where we, our Zoom meetings, everybody gets together and has our Zoom calls, and we're asking everybody, like, hey, what can we do in this situation? I got a nonverbal kid and I have to do web sessions, online sessions with him. I'm not in person. Like, what can I do? And we're like, oh, well, this is how you do the chat feature on Zoom, and he can type to you and he can text you, and, just coming up with ideas like, like, what games can we play? We have to do peer games. Well, we're working on, turn taking and stuff. Okay, well, what can we do? Oh, we're going to do Pictionary. We're going to do charades. We're going to do taboo for kids. We're going to do a tic-tac-toe tournament. We're going to, you just got to come up with those ideas. And we're going to do funny fill-in, Mad Libs. So, we're going to find this video. We're going to, you don't let anything stop you. You just find that momentum. And we're apart, but we're together, as a team. We're apart, but we're together. And it was really weird. It was definitely weird getting used to, like, oh, I don't see so-and-so, and especially when everything first started happening. There was a lot of people who had to step away from CARD for a second to take care of family and things like that. But we were able, now we've kind of figured out figured out how to do it, but we're finding those ways to connect and to reach out and to support each other, because it's easier when it's easier when you're having a bad day and maybe your kiddo's having a rough day and it just took a lot out of you and you just need that moment, and to be like in the center where you can just kind of like, manager, I need a hug, or
Yeah.
you can have those little moments, but when it's online, it took us a little while to find that way of having it, and we figured it out. We figured out how to support each other, and we're not slowing down for anything. We're just keep going.
I love it. And I love you, Heather. So many of your team have written in. All of Irvine North has been watching and cheering you on. Eugenio says, Heather trained me and she's amazing. Go, Heather. So proud. We're all weeping. And so they say Melissa says she trained me. She's the best. And I think now, we're all in the COVID victory mode here. So Heather, thank you for being a card star. Thank you to your whole team, because I know that you guys are doing incredible work there. And thank you for keep on keeping on, even during this pandemic, but always. We so appreciate you and we salute you. I know if Dr. Granpeesheh were here, she would just tell you how much we love you and love your carditude and what you're doing. It's amazing. So thank you so much for taking the time to be with us.
Of course. I really enjoyed letting everybody know how good my team is. My team is the best.
We all loved it too, and to see them support you, so great. Awesome. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you take for care. Having me.
Bye-bye. We've gone a little over because it was worth it, was it not? All of my makeup is in my left armpit right now because I've cried it off. But we do these shows for a couple of different reasons. These people need to be thanked. And they need to be acknowledged for the stars that they are. And we all feel better when we acknowledge them. So 2 things I want you to know today. Is there somebody you need to thank on your team who's just made a difference? Find them today, thank them. Let them know that they were a star. You see how much it means to them to know how much their families appreciate it. But if you don't have one of these stars on your team, I want you to know that they exist, that they're there, that these people are working in the field. They work every day. They work hard because they want to help individuals get to their whatever progress they can, right? So whether you are the person who's on the spectrum and you're needing some support, or whether you have a kiddo on the spectrum and you're like, I just don't know what to do, reach out where you are. These folks work for the Center for Autism and Related Disorders, which is in a lot of different places in the United States. You can go to centerforautism.com and look at the locations tab. There are many more centers opening. So even if they weren't there 6 months ago, it might be that they're coming now because they're getting ready to open a bunch more centers. They also have affiliates in different places around the world, but I also want you to know that there are good quality ABA providers throughout the world now. They're not everywhere by any stretch of the imagination, and you have to be discerning. You have to know what good ABA looks like, good quality ABA versus, somebody hung out a shingle. It's really important that you get good quality ABA, and it's important that you get enough of it, the right amount. These are the things that we talk about here. But we're going to be back tomorrow with Dr. Granpeesheh. We're going to be celebrating her birthday tomorrow and doing another one of these shows. Oh my gosh, if we got good people for you, it's going to be raucous. But please send in your birthday messages for Dr. Granpeesheh. We want it to be a really wonderful celebration of her, another trip around the sun, right? So I'm sending love to all of you. If you don't have someone like these people in your life, let's get you to have people like these in your life. Deal? All right. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, I'm still wiping my nose here. Sorry. Until then, give your kiddos a hug from me and one for you too. Bye-bye for now. Thanks for watching Autism Live. If you found anything helpful in this video, please give us a like. In fact, make sure that you smash that subscribe button on YouTube and give us a like on Facebook. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Instagram for important updates. And please download our free podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much. See you next time.